Okay, so let's get this started. Thank you. We're gonna fill up the keg. We gotta do some blades. Headphones. Oh, don't do that thing. Don't do that thing. Okay, we should be good. If you open AirPods close enough to any Apple thing, it's like, hey! And then it freezes my video. I don't need that right now. So sound should be connected to it. And we can open up chat. Activate selected. What is up? And then this one. Let's just... That should be good. I think that looks good. Both of y'all. What's up, guys? So we got a Lexus today. We're going to be doing the full thing in ceramic. We're going to do 35 on all the sides, and then we're doing 50 on the back window and 50 on the windshield. All in all, it's going to look good. I'm excited. It's going to be a good stream. We're going to be playing around with some gel. We're going to continue that saga. So I think I'm going to mix just a little bit less slip than I typically do. What tint brands do you sell? GeoShield. That stuff right there. Have you ever done an avalanche? Yeah, the back windows are booty. They're not fun. The rest of them are okay. And they brought back that back window on all the new GM EVs, like the truck ones. On some of them, they got the back windows that remove again. Annoying. How hard is it to tint a Ram? Ram's a little tighter on the seals. Okay, so let's try 2 ounces today. 2 ounces in a 3-gallon keg. I never have any sticking issues with Lexus, but I wanna make it a little bit more noticeable of a difference. Let's try that. So we'll do the gel, and then 2 ounces of slip in here. Rams, they're like the sides, they're a little on the tight, or they're a little on the tighter side. Like so your door seals and stuff. A little tighter. Not too bad, honestly. The back window is a little funny because it's got a bracket on the slider that kind of gets tricky to tuck or to tint right against without having a gap. And then the other thing is the BCM modules on the windshield, so you have to make sure that they're covered up really well. What's the worst, most annoying vehicle that you've ever done? I don't know. There's just a lot of oddball stuff. The worst situations that I get into is like something I don't know if I'm going to be able to do a good job, or it's going to take me like 3 or 4 times to get a good job on it. I like stuff that is just straightforward. I don't like putting myself under too much stress anymore. Okay, so interesting thing about the Lexus ES is we actually have to remove the bottom seals because look at how much space you do not have here. You're trying to two-stage that? It's smaller than the quarter. Look at how much. It's like twice as small as the Quarter Pro. Can't fit shit in there. Good news is the seals are actually really easy to remove. You just have a couple little things in the way. So I'm gonna get a pretty quick reminder of what that's like. There's a little push pin right here. So this comes out. See, it just pops up. Sorry, let me give you a better view. This pops up and moves to the side. And then this all just lifts straight out. It's a pretty crazy big seal, but it comes out so easily. The way to remove the door panel, or not really remove, we're just pulling it back. I haven't done it on this side yet, but you just hold the door and you just put some pressure and there's just some push clips. So you're not even putting any stress on it. Pretty easy. But I wouldn't do this unless I had to, but I'm glad that it's so easy to then just, see? And then this one just pops out. Oh, and then we got paid to do it. Look at that, we got a penny. Keep track of these pieces too. I actually have to look at the other side. This one just fell out, but these are for those pins. So you want to make sure that they get put back where they're supposed to. But we're gonna set these here so we don't forget about them. Put the penny there. And now this is ready to tape and tint. We're not gonna remove back seals. Rear doors, perfectly fine. Nothing else that's unusual about the car. But I wouldn't be able to two-stage these without removing those. What are your thoughts on XPEL? And honestly, tape on that isn't really gonna, it's probably gonna get in my way more than it's gonna be helpful. So we'll just tape the back side of this one. Do you not want to be an authorized installer for any particular reason? I'm not a big fan of things that the company has done. Purely for business, they're good to have in certain areas. There is an XPEL shop near us that charges less than we do. And then there's another one that's near us that charges, I think, probably more than we do. I think it's very situational. I think they have really good programs and they make a lot of sense for certain businesses, but you get taxed to hell on the film and the programs. So if that's not worth it to you, there's no point in signing up with them. So I didn't feel early on like I wanted to go down that route and be kind of, I just don't like some of the stuff that they do. They're very overbearing. Like you do things their way. And then there's just a lot of other companies where you're paying a lot for film and you're not really getting a lot of value out of the brand. Like, people are still calling around competing. So if I'm gonna pay 2 times more for a roll of film and I'm not getting any better product and I'm still having to do the same amount of type of work and get the same type of sales, why would I pay more on film? So I'm very happy with Geo. I'm not missing out on any films, any level of quality, any type of customer service. So that's why I thought they've always been a really nice fit. Window switch. How are you? Thank you for asking. Doing good. Does a lifetime warranty with them cost shop more on warranty claims? What? Does a lifetime warranty? I'm experienced in film. So the warranties don't cost you. The companies that you order through, if their film fails, they either give you labor and film money, or they just give you film money. But no, what? I've been using Geo since 2019. The number of warranty situations that I have, I think, is 1, maybe 2. I've had a few more instances with some Peely windows, but I'd chalk that more up to my installation than the film. Just like a legitimate film issue on one of them was like an older Fusion. That's the only one that I've actually had. What's the tape for? So we want to try and keep the edges as clean as possible. And so I'm putting tape over the sides, and that helps trap dirt from just feeding back into my work. Used to work for XPEL, lots of warranty problems with the film for everything. Interesting. XPEL has good films. They come from a good place. XPEL is not an in-house manufacturer. So, like, everybody on the outside, I feel like thinks that it's all sunshine and rainbows when you like pay extra for a particular film brand. Oh, PPF would be a big one. I'm more speaking from window film. PPF is a shit show. Like, man. Like, there's a lot with PPF. I'm practicing right now. I bought a roll of Tint X. Nice, I hope it goes well. All right. So we're gonna start with 35 on the front doors. You're wasting time with tape. You're wasting typing with telling me that's a waste of time. But thanks for watching. New roll. Have you done windshield PPF before? Just a little bit. There's the Matico stuff though. It's nothing that's super new. It's getting better. It's still got growing pains though. Just like a lot of products when they first came out. Carbons and ceramics, they were hazy when they first came out. They were kind of rubbery. They weren't a slam dunk sale. And they've gotten better, clearer, improved a lot, and now they're normal. So I'd imagine with more research and development, it's gonna get better. I heard clarity isn't the best with windshield protective films. I think it depends now on whose you use. Early on, I would hear most of them kind of had a orange peel effect. I think they look a lot better now. I think the biggest thing is going to be longevity. It's just longevity, price, and warranties on that kind of stuff. It's just not as good. Does Geo Shield or Tint have more visible clarity? Geo's gonna have more clarity for sure. They just use better materials. Better materials equal a better product. All right, so we're going to double cut this, meaning we are taking 2 pieces of film, layering them on top of each other. Then we're gonna take it, we're gonna lock it together with a squeegee. Windshield PPF starts swirling and scratching after a while. Yeah, glass is a really hard surface. Films, they're just not as durable. So when you have road debris and wipers smearing that stuff all over it, like if you have it, you shouldn't be using your wipers much at all, and you should be cleaning it pretty regularly and taking care of it. So what a consumer wants to see is obviously as economic as possible. As economical as possible, but they want to see it as a supplement for replacing their windshield, because that's the whole point of it. You want to be able to protect your windshield in a cost-effective way, but the films right now, they just scratch, they damage, and they're expensive. So on your daily drivers, they just don't make as much sense. But on your higher end vehicles where a windshield costs, at least a couple $1,000s to replace, windshield protection film is a pretty viable option right now. You just got to go into it knowing that you can't just treat it like shit. There's going to be some care into it. Kind of like wrap level care. Look at that little bit right there. Look at that little bit of a cut right there. Then we're gonna tuck this into the bottom. We remove the seal. We can pull it down a little farther than we normally would. We're likely gonna bottom load this one. That's 2 days in a row. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. We're gonna roll this window down. Grab our top edge knife. Why do I have a scrub pad? I don't want that. How much to do a windshield? Depends on the film that we're putting on there, but they start at $150. Tint Club is just an economical film. So you're not gonna be getting the best films out of there, but they're not gonna be the worst films either. Get them, try them. The best thing that you can do is get a couple. Get something that you know would be better and get something that you know would be worse and literally have stuff to compare it to and then just see how it stacks up. Then you can talk with a lot more confidence about what you're installing and know if like, hey, did I make a good choice or not? I think too many people just like look at the internet and they just want to pick one. But when you're pulling it in for your business, it's like it's good to actually have comparisons with other products because other people around you are installing other stuff. So then when a customer calls you, rather than it just being about price, it could be more about product and service. So we trimmed out all the sides, top, bottom, and now we're just finishing up our corners and stuff. So we have this big old tab here. We're just gonna cut this straight line here. Right like that, that comes off. And then this is the top edge of our door window, right? See, here's the shape of our door. And then we want to keep this going as straight as possible to continue this curve. So when we install it, it all lines up nice and pretty. Do you recommend any brands for windshield tint? You're definitely going to want to use just a really nice quality film on a windshield, especially, because you're always looking through it. I'd like to recommend what I install. So we're using GeoShield. We're using their C2 ceramic. Any of their films are going to be great for a windshield. Is it a myth to not tint in the winter? That would be a myth, but I don't know where you would have heard it from. Tinters never tell you to stop tinting in the wintertime. It's just like the sunroof thing, too. I don't know why, like, everybody's got a friend. Like, oh, I heard from a friend not to do sunroofs. I have no idea why. You can tint year-round, but we're using soapy water, so if you're trying to tint outside, obviously it's going to be a little difficult to tint outside when it's freezing, but you can absolutely tint in any garage, and then once it's done, pull it right outside. It'll take longer to dry, but nothing bad's going to happen. That's true. Everybody's got a friend telling you not to do something or that you can get it cheaper. That's like for sure. Everybody's always scaring people. Stop. Take more chances, do more things. Do you need to shrink it? Yes, we do. Why would you bottom load it? Because I don't have space on the front. So most door seals are like this. See, it's got some height to it. If we look at the front, ouch, look at that. It's so pinched there. Trying to two-stage that would just suck. So absolutely gonna bottom load it. I pulled out the seal ahead of time though. See? My sunroof is gonna explode. Look, there's situations where tinting a sunroof just doesn't make a lot of sense. So on a lot of the EVs, like take my Model 3 for example. The roof is already really dark. I saw a video where Tesla said they make them 2%. So it's darker than limo. And there's no shade that you can cover yourself with. It's just the glass. So they do something to the glass. They put a ceramic laminate in the sunroof on that. So by adding another layer of ceramic, it's not really gonna do anything for you. The only thing that you're gonna do is make the roof darker. But your average sunroof, like this one, this has a shade, a pull shade here, right? It's tinted, but that glass is likely to not have any type of ceramic blocking heat. So that one makes perfect sense to add ceramic to. All right, so let's cut the sides. Do you not use a plotter? I do use a plotter. I just don't always use it. It's sitting there. His sad face right now. We use it on the quarter windows and the back glass on this one. I'm getting tatted right now while enjoying some tinted lessons. Nice. You're getting some tint tattoos? Will you tint my car if I brought it from Australia? Hell yeah. That'd be a journey. Get a tat of a tinted sunroof. Full circle comments, those are my favorite. We tied it all together. Those are the best. Lexus is hard to do, two-stage, always bottom load. Yeah, in a lot of cases, absolutely. So I have no idea why, but on a lot of the front doors of their cars, they'll do this. They'll just give you like a tiny bit of space. Do you have a geocode? No. But 313 Tint takes 5% off of tools right now. Maybe we should make a geocode. Have you tinted a Cybertruck? Actually, no. I'll get them after they're long done with, when they've been out for a couple years. Trim this straight across. Make sure this is lined up. Some days you have low view numbers. Yeah, it fluctuates a lot. And it's always been like that. Hard to say why. Did somebody say they were going to drive to Australia? Yeah. Probably not. They're going to put some pontoons on the sides and they're going to cross. Tell us about removing the door seal. Absolutely. So I don't know a lot of them, but I know this car. Because anytime I get a Lexus IS or ES, what's the difference? What's the difference between an IS and an ES? But all the modern ones have really easy to remove front seals. ES is a bigger sedan. Oh, okay. Well, they keep the same types of door seals, which is good. So this one is as simple as you literally pull back, and this whole panel has push clips, and it just pops back, seal pulls out. We'll put it back at the end of the stream. But it's this big old chunky door seal right here, and it all was that easy. Is a Corolla frame ES, IS is... Oh, that helps so much. Holy, thank you. That makes perfect sense. How do you feel about giving customers refunds? Well, it's never fun to do. But yeah, sometimes you probably have to. Yeah, even the 2025 IS, as far as I know, I don't get these too often. But it's probably that easy. What's the point of the heat gun? It shrinks the window. So, see all these little spikes? Those are gonna pop up on the inside. And so I take a heat gun and I literally shrink and mold the pattern to fit the window so then I don't have those popping up. And we'll do that one at a time. One at a time as we go. Okay. Could you tell me a rough estimate on a 26 Durango, front windows and windshield? Yeah, so we have a few different options. Front doors and full windshield start at $250 in carbon, $350 for the ceramic that we're using right now, and $450 for our top of the line ceramic. Any tips on getting over the fear of starting a tinting business? Oof. You kind of just have to do it. It's so easy to overplan and practice. I was tinting for a number of years, and then when I started Detroit Tint Studio, I was just gonna do it out of a home garage. And so I dressed up the garage, I was putting a website together, and then I was basically, at some point, I like had most things in place. I was just procrastinating. The sooner that you can try and take like a small job to start putting a little bit of money back, it's very freeing. You'll still be nervous, but as soon as you get through like your first job and then you just kind of go from there, it gets easier and easier. But try and figure out what is the main thing, what is the quickest way to actually trying to get some money. Not just for the sake of having more money, but to go through the entire process of like, oh, I did it. I actually made money tinting a window. And then you just kind of go from there. Because a lot of times you'll find out all your over planning, there'll be other stuff that you didn't think of. So it's good just to go through it. But to be honest, on cars, a lot of people focus on cars, and we do cars on this channel. And I wouldn't be tinting if it wasn't for cars, because it just like happenstance. Flat glass is huge, and it's not easy, like dead simple to do flat glass, but it's far easier to learn and start a flat glass business than it is an automotive one. So some of you guys might like want to look into doing flat glass instead. Everybody's doing cars, and everybody talks about cars. Not as many people talk about flat glass. Doing my first full car, 2018 Mustang. Nice. Got to do the tint limbo on that back window. I feel like it's more expensive and people don't want to pay. Flat glass? It is more expensive. Target nicer neighborhoods. That's the nice thing about flat glass is like you're going places, you're going to other neighborhoods, you're going to businesses. Target the people that will pay more. We're still doing it in a garage. It was our first season, but didn't make much money. Low-paying customers, we would get in a garage. Yeah, it varies a lot based on where you are. I mean, that just gets into business is business. So some people run complete tint businesses right out of their house. And in certain areas, I'd say a lot of where I am, your average person isn't going to search on Google and, oh, that's somebody's house? Yeah, let's go there. That's just, they want to go to a more traditional business. But when you get good clients and then they start making referrals to people, like, yeah, I went to this guy who was out of his home, but he does awesome work and he gave me a great deal on it or something like that. That's reassurance for other people. So you want to lean really heavy into referrals. All right. This one's good. Nope, still trying gel. I hope this doesn't stick too much. We used two ounces. Versus 3. So we'll see if that is not enough. And if it's not, I'm gonna add more. It's not good clients, is good work that gets referrals and new clients. Well, it's not just one thing. I'd say it's not just good work. You can have good work and then no incentive for somebody to recommend you to somebody else. Oh man, we gotta do the limbo on this one like crazy. Then we go down. Still sliding, that's good. How you're not getting contamination? Touching the film. Well, I'm not touching the adhesive. Oh, that one went a little far down. Come on, free up, 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 free up. There we go. This is a Lexus ES250. It's got to be the most fulfilling job. I think there's probably other stuff. Not that it doesn't have its high points, but you definitely touched the adhesive 2 times while it was dry. All right, well, you can pull the clips. And then you can post it in our group and go, see, he touched. I didn't, but okay. While you're removing the door panel, if you're sticking the tint to the outside of the door window. Is that a little struggle putting it on? Yeah, and we're gonna check and see how it turned out. I said I backed off on my soap and we're experimenting with gel. This is part of that experimenting. If it doesn't go perfect, that's okay. Let's see how it turned out. If it didn't turn out great, I'll redo it. Trial and error, my dudes. $3M crystalline, you wouldn't have gotten away with installing it that rough? No, you can't even shrink crystalline the same way. The fuck, man? This completely different product that's difficult to install. You wouldn't get away with a rough installation on it. Oh, okay, cool. I guess it's all relative to what you're working with, huh? Chat's coming in hot today. I was talking about the install. I know you were talking about the install. No, they got a bunch of keyboard warriors today. Holy. What's more lucrative, tinting or detailing? Both can be great. It depends on how skilled of an operator you are. Detailing is hyper competitive to get into. Tinting's a lot more competitive to get into as well. Or like it is very competitive to get into. But in general, just hour for hour, you're probably gonna make more money tinting. But it's harder to learn how to tint. Somebody can get a vacuum and detail their own car. So that's on the outside. Everything looks good. I'm gonna add a little bit more soap for the next one. But yeah, this one turned out nice. Yeah, see these? There's like little bugs on the outside. That turned out good. Yeah, that looks great. A little bit tacky, So we're going to add a little bit more soap. Still use the gel, but I was hoping that would let me do 1 ounce less of soap. On this one, not quite. Oh, why did I do that? That was not smart. Hang on. It's gonna blow its nose at me. Are those difficult to tint? That's why you bottom load it? Yeah, there's no space. So we're gonna add another ounce in there. So now we're up to normal mixing ratio. I would love to work there. It looks awesome. It's so peaceful. I'm not gonna bottom load on the rear. The rear ones are completely normal. But if you look at this one, you see this edge right here? I have like a 1/4 pro worth of space there. Like this much room to try and 2-stage that. So, people asked, do you always bottom load? Almost always. This is a prime example of something I'm gonna pull a seal on. You're welcome to pull them on more than that. Coming from somebody that primarily 2-stages everything, this is be very difficult to try and 2-stage. All right, so we got this pattern all cut, ready to go. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna shrink it. Then we're gonna install it. There we go. That's ready to install. Now let's prep the inside of the window and make it happen. So this is 35. This goes back in the box. Ooh, you know what? We are doing 35 on the side, so I gotta remember, this is for the 1/4 windows. We're doing 35 on the sides, and then on the front and back windshields, we're doing 50. Yeah, Metro Detroit, Sterling Heights. So on this seal, they're not very tight. It's more about having space on the sides. Lexus is just one of those funny ones. I don't know why they give you space on the other Toyotas and then they don't give you space on the Lexus. Somebody needs to talk to their window department. Need to have some words. Do you want to keep it luxurious? I've seen, somebody should tell them, I've seen some luxurious vehicles that have more space on the front doors. But in their defense, they also made them really easy to pull the seals, so maybe they did think of us. They're like, we really like the styling. We feel bad for our window tinters. Actually, no, they don't. They don't feel bad for their window tinters because they started putting a coating on certain glass. What was it, like the UVU stuff? They want to give us a hard time. Ooh, this has some popping. Is there a reason why you don't use spray bottles? Spray bottles are perfectly fine. I like this better than just hear that? So there are going to be some spots on this window. Could have been from weld slag, but there's only one small one right there. I knocked some other ones off. It's probably like a razor blade better than just a scrub pad. But there is definitely, ooh, yeah, see that? We're knocking some stuff off, and there's a couple that are just hanging behind. Yeah. Little defect there. Nothing huge though. That one's probably the biggest. Like pitting. Yep, definitely some pits on this one. They're gonna be small though. But I'm gonna have to pay a little bit more attention to like the back window, and hopefully it's just this one. Sometimes cars have bodywork done. Yep. Yep, this very well could have been the case. What are pits? It's the pits, yo. So if there's been a vehicle repair and the glass, like let's say they had to weld something and the glass was just there, they didn't cover it up, you can have what is called slag. So like molten welding bits that like shoot off and can stick and pit the window. So it basically like melts into the glass a little bit. Oh. Silly me. See, I'm so used to my workflow. My buddy blew up his back window welding on the roof. Yep. I mean, when you're welding, you just got lots of stuff that's flying all over the place. Little hot spot. Explosion. Do you cut it on the window or use a plotter? I do both. What's up? Yeah, that's fine. Some sopas. Sopas sounds good. Okay. I'm just gonna stay here, tinting windows. Yeah, sounds good. No, it's okay. Oh, you know what? You could heat it up though. All right, so we're gonna tuck this in. Gonna start with one corner. Other corner. I like the Lexus seal. Other than payroll, what's the other highest business expense? I mean, we're a store, so product. lots and lots and lots and lots of tools. But just from a shop perspective, there's a lot of little things that add up, more so than you'd think. The biggest just chunk is obviously going to be the rent. That's just $3,400 plus what my internet is like, I think $350 a month. My electricity is probably like $5. So there's just like a lot of things. Thank you. Two days in a row bottom loading. Unacceptable. I know, right? Like, what is going on with this channel? What even are we? Okay, this is obviously an ES250. It's a 2022 ES250. I can just, you know what? I'm just gonna. What's your goals with the business? To grow indefinitely until I hit a wall and then everything catches on fire and I'm like, oh shit, I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, if you're not gonna drink it. Well, you can have it. I got mine. It's just when I get home, if it's the same weight. Probably. You like you didn't drink anything.
Oh, did you do this?
What? Yeah. What percent? 35. No, I think the goal. So the goals with the business are to run a nice business, keep myself entertained, make money to do fun things, and also not be tied as heavily. And so far, we've done a really good job of all of that. But I think one of the biggest things that gets annoying is inventory. I'd love to have something to offset inventory a little bit more than it does. So when you sell products, you gotta reorder products. And then like, when you reorder, you're like, oh shit. Scaling inventory has been difficult, but we're doing it. We've done it. We're at a pretty happy place right now. But now we're coming into the slower season, so all that's going to slow down. Do you think a tint tool store is worth it or a good idea? I'm thinking of starting a store. So like there's a lot of places that people can buy tools. I don't think it's a good idea if you don't really have a strategy. You're just like, I'm just gonna get some tools and try and sell it. It's like you can already buy them everywhere. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna sink a lot of money into inventory, and then you need to sell it. Or else that's literally money just sitting on the shelf. And then here's the kicker. Let's say you sell through, yay. Keep money aside for reorders, obviously. But then you typically have to order more. So then it's just like this, it's this exponential growing thing. The more you sell, the more you order, the more you have to put away. And then it's just that until you hit some type of balance. How much for an ES350? Are we doing a windshield on it? Good time to ask, because we got a 250. What's the 350? What's the difference between that? Is it like faster? No windshield. All the sides and the rear would start at $299 in carbon, $350 for the type of ceramic that we're installing right now, and then $450 for our best dual layer ceramic. Biggest difference is going to be heat rejection. So if you just want a nice tint job, carbon's going to be great. You want to block some heat, ceramic. You want to block more heat, then the Apex ceramic. It's going to be the best. How much for a BMW 335i with a windshield? I'm going to assume it's not 100 years old. Made within the last 10, 15 years. Full BMW with a windshield, $450 for carbon, $550 for ceramics, $650 for Apex dual ceramic. How much for a 22 Malibu, all windows? Oh, I love doing Malibus. Malibu's same price. Most modern vehicles are all going to be in the same type of price range unless something is exponentially difficult. So without a windshield, $299, $350, $450. With a windshield, $450, $550, $650. Not worth it. What brand of film do you use? I use GeoShield films. Oh, look at that. That looks so nice. That turned out so good. Outrageous! I know, people don't like when I start talking about prices. Yep, there are definitely places that'll do it for less. And if I do it for less, there's always people that'll do it for even less. At some point, you don't have a business anymore. Or you're running yourself ragged. So, I don't know. I have enough customers to keep me busy. Things are going pretty well. Did you say your tools are on sale right now? We typically have a 5% discount going. 313 Tint is the code. So it'll take 5% off of tools right now. Is there a tint that's like almost the same shade? Yes, there are. It's super cool. There's super clear ceramic films. We're gonna be doing 50, but we have as light as 70, and there are even lighter ones out there. So you can tint your car to help with the heat without making it darker. Gotta remember to use Instagel. I'm trying. You know what I want to do? I diluted this stuff. And it was... Let's undilute it. Let's start fresh. And let's leave it not diluted and just see how it goes. What's the difference between PPF and ceramic? Ceramic is for window film. PPF is short for paint protection film. So PPF is a way of putting a clear screen protector on your car. Did you get all those cabinets? Cabinets are from New Age. better to have soap, but I just want to use thick gel instead. I've been doing this for 20 years and it's better to have soap. I don't know. I think we're just gonna use the gel. Maybe like a half bottle. Tint this whole car with a half bottle of gel. When I did my own car, it looked good, and then days later, lots of little bubbles everywhere. Why? It's called hair gel. That's right. We're experimenting with hair gel today. Little bubbles come from dirt. So they were always there. It's just as all the moisture dries out, you really see them. Do plotters come with vehicles programmed? No, plotters are dumb cutting machines. They know nothing until the software tells them what to cut. I have to pay $200 a month to cut my patterns. Maybe I'm asking too many questions. No, there's a lot of people asking questions today. So feel free to repeat something if I didn't answer it. It's kind of just sometimes just timing your comment right. If you have plotters, why do you hand cut as well? So hand cutting can be more precise. I can get the exact pattern and fit that I want. Plotters are pre-programmed patterns that don't always work out. Software has gotten a lot better. Certain people's software is good. Some people's software kind of sucks. But the annoying thing about software is you don't know if your pattern is going to fit with this car until you actually cut it out and install it. So I have the time in printing it out. I have the time in weeding it, in shrinking it, cleaning the glass, installing it, and then if it doesn't work out, I just wasted film. So they are very much worth having. But if I'm not in a rush to tint something and I feel like hand cutting it, I'm going to do it. If I'm more in a rush and want to speed things along, I tend to use a plotter a little bit more. I've been really happy with the software we've been using though. Software, we're using Core. So if I'm just starting out tinting and I want to scale, is mobile option a good idea? Dude, you haven't even started yet and you're thinking about scaling. Focus on starting your tinting business and making it good, and then you're gonna have to hire people. That's how you're gonna scale. You could do a mobile business. You could do a brick and mortar business. You could do both of them at the same time. You could have a physical location and then offer flat glass as well. Pick one thing, try and do that really well, and then worry about scaling later. Nothing's gonna pigeonhole you from starting mobile or in a physical shop, and then you have to stick that way. Do you recommend hiring instead of doing it yourself? It's enormously challenging to hire somebody. It's generally good to know how to do it yourself, for auto anyways, because you're always gonna be hiring somebody. You're gonna try and keep somebody around and you'll get somebody that'll be good for a little bit and then 6 months, a year later, they'll be gone and then you gotta find somebody else. A cool story was how Tint started their business. So this was like before Tint was. They were a architectural company out in California. But the owner of it didn't know how to tint. He specialized in digital marketing and stuff. And then so he started a flat glass company because he just talked to people and saw the demand for it. And so he found somebody to do the flat glass. And so he did all the online stuff and then would send somebody out to do the jobs. So they didn't have a physical location. He didn't know how to do it. Flat glass, I think, is the easiest way into that kind of stuff. If you want the most scalable option, flat glass is gonna be it by a long shot. It's funny because people come out for the automotive class and we talk about business and stuff. And we start talking about options and flat glass, and they're like, oh, wow, I should have done flat glass. And we're like, yeah, we try and say that a lot. He's giving bad advice to you guys to go steal his business. Yeah, I've got videos going back to 2011. I'm so scared. That's the whole point of spending extra time on going live, is to tell you what not to do. That sounds like an enormous waste of time. Why would you give your advice to competition? Come on, do the math. Because I was a dumb tinner that wanted to be a YouTube person, but I also like tinting, so like that was kind of my outlet for it. But as everything kind of grew, we grew more into being a distributor. So if anything, I'd like to incentivize even more people to do it. I don't know. How many years of experience before you consider somebody to be a pro? It has nothing to do with years. It has everything to do with how competent they are at just doing it. Somebody could be tinting for 6 months and do a good job. A lot of it is mindset. A lot of it's mindset and just pure will and determination. Some people understand things faster than others, but anybody can learn how to do it. It's just how many people actually put in the work to do it. Isn't it easier to tint the top half first and then tuck it in? That's what I typically do. See guys, I can't do anything. If there is another way to do it, I will get asked every time why I don't do it the other way from what I'm doing now. So the reason why I'm bottom loading this one is because it's a Lexus and I have absolutely no space here. All right, buddy. Thanks, pal. If somebody calls you bud, call them pal. Thanks, pal. Which was the hardest part for a beginner? You know, everybody's different. Some people get shrinking really fast. Some people get insulations really fast. Every big thing, like so every staple, like shrinking, hand cutting, reverse rolling, everything's got its hang-ups. And so just everybody is different. I've seen people have hangups in everything. When they're taught, like a lot of people get on their own, I think probably get hung up on shrinking the most. But when we see them here at our class, it's really easy to help them out with shrinking. So this was normal slip solution. And then we added some gel. We did some PPF gel. I mean, I shouldn't say PPF gel because it's just install gel, so it's Insta gel. Gel is something we're experimenting with. Right now it's all Insta-Gel, but the way that we're doing it is we're doing Insta-Gel sprayed directly on the window and then slip solution sprayed directly on the film, but I am still flushing and adding a little slip solution on the glass. I think we have a little bit of stick with those front windows. I'll grab a bottle. I'll keep one on each side so you guys can see it. So I'm not adding the gel directly to my slip solution. There are going to be some things I want to experiment with. We just got it in last week. We've only had it for a handful of installs so far, so this is my opportunity to experiment. Insta-Gel. So most people know of installation gels strictly for PPF. It prevents the film from like prematurely sticking to the surface that you apply it to. What I've seen more recently is people keep asking me about gel on installation to help keep the sides cleaner or your work generally cleaner by spraying a little bit more on the side edges. I tape the side edges, but another thing that I'm kind of looking for is Geo's got a really aggressive adhesive, and so do a lot of other films now. So I'm looking to use a gel to hopefully offset that kind of stick and just give you a little bit more slide time with it. Did I shrink this one? Yes, I just shrunk it. So we're gonna scrape this off. Spray the top here. There's no popping on this side, so it was just that quarter window and that door so far, and hopefully nothing with the back window. Squeegee. Squeegee that down. Squeegee this down. Grab my gel. So that was gel directly to the edges. Yes, the hair gel. Can you give me a tip on separating the film? I use my teeth. I have the liner side like facing down and then the tint side facing up, and I just like shift my teeth and I'm able to peel it that way. So that goes into the side there. Ooh, that was nice. You know, I gotta get in the habit of doing it that way. Leaving the glass clean and not spraying my slip solution first, but doing the gel, because the whole point is like the gel sits on the surface of the glass. But I use water as a way to flush out my edges, so I swipe it with a card, but I still want to take water and basically like flush it clean. Where the gel, you're not really flushing it with gel. You're putting some there and it's just gonna stick there. But we'll see. It should turn out clean. It's just breaking old habits and OCDs. It's probably less of a point to use it on the bottom here. I suppose you can though. Tintly calendar added 2 new modules today. Oh, really? Oh, what did we get? Sorry, there's a bunch of fighting in the comments, I guess. I don't know what people are talking about, really. I'm just trying to tint windows here. You don't get creases on the sides? Very small ones. It just depends on how tight the seals are. Once I'm done, I go over the edges with heat. So I'm actively looking for little pinches on the sides. And I'm just gonna heat those spots and press it out. Normal for touch-ups. Laid Up Customs. This would be a perfect moment for the balloon. Thank you for the 5, I appreciate that. You're not kidding. It would be really good. Film and jobs and materials. Nice. Have you tried the gel instead of soapy water? So you're still using soapy water. I think that's gonna be one of the most confusing things for people, is we're always using our slip solution. The gel is an assist to your slip solution. So the easiest way I can explain it so far is your slip solution is runny. It's water and soap. Literally, it cannot be slicker. So when I spray it, see how that just running down? When I spray the gel, it stays in place. So the idea is you use this sparingly on the edges, and you can miss the surface that you're going to tint, but you're still going to use your slip solution on the film itself. And if you want to make sure that it slides a little bit better, add a little bit of slip solution over the gel on the window. But I am new to gel, okay? I did not invent the gel. This is not my gel. I want to experiment with it and learn just like everybody else, because it has become a very hot topic. And so anything that can help people get a cleaner result and make it easier. So what I'm hoping to see out of it is that it makes like geo slide a little bit easier on the glass, give you a lot more hang time with it. Because one of my biggest gripes is just how tacky. So that's why we like using tint slip. But I'd imagine if this gives you better hang time, you could probably just go back to using baby shampoo just fine. Going to the grocery store and clearing those aisles. Use some purple lavender again. Why do you use tape on the sides? Does it come out cleaner? Yeah, that's the idea there. So my way of managing random debris on the sides, I like using tape for that. But what people have been saying with the gel is that they're going to use the gel in and of itself on the sides, and then it just, again, it helps trap debris and keep it out of, from running in your work. Green tint slime, too sticky, way too sticky. That's why tint slip is a thing. If you use it and you like it, don't let me stop you. But there's a lot of films that have really aggressive adhesives. A lot of slip solutions are just tacky. Tint slip, we made to be, dude, I just wanted that stuff to be as slick as possible, but still safe for window tint. I don't get why people try making new products when water and baby shampoo is tried and true. So there's something about reinventing the wheel, right? That is definitely unnecessary. And you do get a lot of products that are unnecessary. It's like, what is the point of an industry solution for seemingly no reason? But I can tell you the story of tint slip. Baby shampoo works well for certain films, and I don't find, like, I used it for a very long time, and I have no problem with still the idea of using it. I just need it to work. So I was using, this is going back, I was using ES250. I was using baby shampoo, no problems. We had some issues with that company, so then we were looking for a different film. And there's this company called Tint, and we looked at a bunch of others, and we ended up going with Tint. Then they got bought by Avery Dennison. Things kind of went to shit for a while, but they came out with a product line called NR. And for whatever reason, NR Mark, I have better luck with tint slime than tint slip, specifically with Geo. Dude, I have What the fuck? It makes no sense to me. Literally makes no sense. I respect people's choices to use whatever slip solution that they want. We're just gonna have to take a deeper dive into that because I don't. Tint, tint slime, the green stuff is sticky. I know some installers just like a tackier solution. I've never been like that though. Okay, iPhone is asking this caller for more information. Turn digital crown for details. Oh. I have to use 2x tint slip compared to slime. You're banned. For my... Dude, it was weird. So my experience with tint slime, and a lot of the others, okay, so this goes back into what we were talking about. It didn't matter what film I was using. I never was a fan of the green stuff. It was always just too tacky. And then they came out with an orange one, and I really like the orange one. And that one was perfectly fine for Avery NR Pro. The orange tint slime was good with Avery NR. NR Pro. And then Avery NR came out, which was a color stable, purely dyed version of NR Pro. But they changed something with the adhesive. And I would just add a butt ton of baby shampoo to it. So I started with the orange stuff. It was too tacky. I tried baby shampoo. It worked better. But it was still very tacky. And then I went on this like soap journey. So I was using Dawn and baby shampoo. It was turned into my mix. Water and Johnson baby shampoo, too sticky, add more shampoo, too slick, add some water. Yeah, until you add so much baby shampoo that your eyes start tearing up. And you're like, what the heck? So, like I said, it really depends on the film that you use. On certain films, baby shampoo works extremely well and you don't need anything else. But there are films that are just more aggressive and baby shampoo just didn't cut it. So what I would do in a 3-gallon tank, I would do 3 ounces of baby shampoo and 1 ounce of Dawn. And I really like that mix. I used that for a long time. But somewhere along the line, Geo had some film issues. They started looking into what people are using for slip solutions. They realized that a lot of people are using Dawn. And they looked into the chemistry of it, and they discovered that, albeit people will still use Dawn, degreasers are just not recommended for window tint adhesives. They'll break them down over time. Is it gonna cause your film to fail? I don't know. Personally, I haven't had that kind of an issue. I'm just reporting what they have said. And if you wanna, you know, if you're a film company, you don't wanna recommend products that might cause your films to fail. So they suggested everybody use like Fusionol type or one of the other industry soaps, or use baby shampoo, because baby shampoo is still fine. But I tried. I tried just using baby shampoo. I tried all type. I tried slime. Everything was just too tacky. So then they developed Tint Slip. And so Tint Slip just had an extra kick to it. So we're still at 1 ounce per gallon. For like a recommended mix ratio, you can do more, you can do less. I still want to make it stronger, so you just use less overall. Use like 1/2 ounce per gallon or something like that. How about more Morocco soap? I've never heard of that one. We should probably clean the inside of the window before we cover it up. Let's do that. So circling back around to the gel, Tint Slip is still an awesome option, and I've been using that for a long time. That's a slip solution I like and use. But if I could do something to let Geo slide a little bit longer, and just like, there's just these times where it'll just really aggressively grab the window. It's like, especially when you go to shove it into a seal, it'll pinch and then just bind up really aggressively. So if I can do something to stop that from happening, I'm all for that. It's like one of my biggest gripes with the film. But it's not just them. But yeah, if gel has the bonus of keeping your edges and stuff cleaner, then like, yeah, why not? Used Geo for the first time, and yes, I noticed that it can get really sticky. Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that part about it makes it less beginner friendly, because people go to install a window and, you know, they're just trying to learn stuff, and then shit freezes to the glass. It's like, wait, what? What am I doing wrong? So the easier that we can make it, the better, because then you can just do more cars. So which mix do you recommend now? I use Tint Slip. This stuff right here. I just use 1 ounce per gallon. Stick to that mixing ratio. It's been great. The only weird thing that we're trying now, we'll flip this way, is the gel alongside of it. Ooh, I got this one here. Ah! Oh, that does actually work pretty well. Somebody told me this the past 2 streams. I've, for whatever reason, never tried that. Ha! That actually, minus the handle being a little bit long. Yeah, that got the majority of it. Okay, that looks a lot better. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any type of bad over spray crap that was stuck on the inside, but the inside's all good. notch up the handle? We could. I'm learning to do back windows. We are about to jump into this one. Here we go. What's the best method to shrink a Jetta, GTI, Golf back window? Those are like 3 different cars, aren't they? You don't remove the third brake light on this? No. I got enough space to get in between there. If it's the easy clip style, maybe. Like it's, but I don't think those just pop out, do they? Maybe not that one specifically. Any advice for beginners? I got a lot of advice, but you need to know what you're having problems with. What are you gonna do with the excess water on the inside? Water's gonna dry, but we have to install film first, so there's gonna be more. What's the white tape? It's Glass Aid seal, or sorry, not seal guard, cut guard. So I'm gonna trim on the tape, and it's gonna keep the glass safe. You slide the brake light to the left, that pops out. You know, oh, funny bone. Oh, no shit. You know, with how flexible this is, I'm still gonna use a bulldozer with this one. I'm worried I'm gonna pop this out. See how it's like connected to this? And then I'm not gonna be able to hook it back in. But it would probably be fine. Do you wet the dryer sheets with regular water or slip solution? Slip solution. So it slides to the left, and then it pops out. All right, let's start getting this one prepped in the meantime. So I'm gonna let this dry. We're gonna work on the windshield some, because we're doing both. Okay, I'll give it another shot. I probably just didn't push hard enough. I've taken out a bunch of like Nissan ones and similar to that. Just probably not that one. Okay, where do we put it? There it is. Let's grab the squeegee. You're on to heat shrinking. Yep. We're getting the front and back windshields prepped. And then we're gonna shrink them. Nice shot, bud. Thanks, pal. We're doing 35 on all the sides, and then we're doing 50. Waited for days before rolling my windows down immediately. Got these vertical marks. Oh, yeah. So a customer just messaged us, and you see those scratches on the window? This was on the, was it on the Taurus? This is on the Taurus that was all beat up. He's wondering what those are on the windows. Those are scratches. What do you think about Midas window tint out of Florida? I don't know much about it, other than it's just a local brand. Scratches from what? That would be from the windows. So it was a 2012. No, no, no. I'm not ignoring you. Just getting distracted. We talk about ceramic films a lot. So we're installing a ceramic right now. Ceramic comes in light and dark shades and will block out heat. Is there something in particular you want to know about it? Corona film. That's a Florida brand. What is that shit for? That shit is for trimming. So when we go to cut the windshield out, we don't scratch the window. It gets lined up right on the edge of the dots. You can put it wherever you want. So right on the edge of the dots, and I'll get a little bit closer. It doesn't have to be perfect. It depends on what you're tinting. So it's just a border. So you want to put it wherever you want your border to be. So see where the dots are? The edge of the tape is right near the dots. Some areas get a little closer, some areas get a little bit farther away. I'm less worried about this one, but I'm going to cut right in the middle of it. So you can see dots are here, they end about here, right at the tape line. And then if I cut in the middle, I get a nice 1/8 inch border around the whole thing. But if I don't have that much space, see this gets a little bit tighter here, I don't want to cut it that wide. But personally, wherever I put the tape, I want to know that wherever I cut on the tape, I'm not leaving a gap. Not professional. Okay. How do you prevent from not having too much of a wide pattern? You cut your patterns slimmer. So if you're using the tape, don't cut in the middle. Cut towards the inner edge of it. Or don't use the tape at all and use a light. Okay, so the back window is dry, and that's ready to do. You take a long time. I don't think we're going for a world record here today. Let's grab the 50. We're gonna trim off a piece. Let's put this away. It's gonna be for the windshield as well. I know, he wants me to be faster. Yeah, this is definitely a lot of waste. This is a 40-inch roll. 50%. I would have preferred a 36, but all they had was the 40 in the C2. So that's what we got it. What other brands do you recommend? Well, like, what are you looking for? You want something more expensive? A lot of times I'll use this excess and put it on the quarters, but the quarters was a different shade, so those are already done. Is bro putting clear tint on? We're putting lighter tint on the back, yes. It's not clear, it's 50. Here's my card. Just want to say I ordered and tried the Reach Around and Slim Slam, and I love them. Thank you. It's nice to hear something good about them. Appreciate that. Why do you only use the trim tape on the front and back glass? I did use it on the quarters. I use it anywhere there's a dot border. On the doors, you're not cutting anywhere that's going to be an issue. So if we're dragging a blade, like, scratches are bright white. So when you're dragging a blade along a window and you put a scratch in it, that scratch really stands out. On door windows, we're trimming in this little area right here. Right here. So putting tape there wouldn't make any sense. When will the side swipers be back in stock? Should be pretty soon. Heat and tack at the same time or shrinking the whole thing first? So you need to look for the right pattern. You can heat and tack at the same time, but they're doing separate things. I wouldn't really recommend shrinking the entire thing and then tacking it all unless you really know what you're looking for. But you're looking for this pattern right here. See how up here we have these fingers, and then we have these horizontal fingers. This is all ready to be flattened out and stretched out. So if I'm heating and tacking it down at the same time, I'm just basically doing those steps together. So heating and going, but I basically know when I need to card, and I'm looking for that right thing, and you get used to, like, but I'm waiting for the film to do this, and then I can card it, right? So if you're newer, it's better to shrink a smaller area. So like shrink a stretch here, and then this, and then this. So like shrink this, cart it down, shrink this, cart it forward, shrink this, cart it forward. Why don't you use landscape mode? Because platforms don't like landscape. They all like vertical now. Also, your shipping times are insane, always consistent, and comes sooner than expected. I'm glad to hear that. There's all our tools, most of them. Some of them are upstairs. You place an order. It gets printed out immediately, automatically. So we know that we have an order, and then it just gets put together. Got a really nice streamlined system. A lumpia roll. Screw calling it reverse roll. We'll start calling it lumpia. I like that. How do you prevent contamination on windshields? We'll get to that once we're on the windshield. Tinting is difficult. So we'll definitely talk about, like, as we're doing it, we'll talk about things that can help out. The biggest thing is always just practice your install. Repeat, 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 repeat. The gel helps with that. Gel is definitely going to help with that. This is going to be the first front windshield that I'm going to be able to use the gel with, like on a regular car. I tried shrinking some Gila 2.5% for a customer brought from F Boys. That crap will not shrink. It was possessed. It would just sit there and take heat and then burn and shrivel up. Do you know Gila is a Eastman brand? They weren't happy with the video I made a while ago. If you're scratching the glass with a blade, your hands are too heavy. I don't think that's entirely accurate anymore. Glass has just changed a lot. It's weaker, it's cheap. Some of them are fine, and some of them just aren't. I tinted for a glass company, and I did a lot of testing with a few different types of blades. I would take a piece of tint, put it on the window, and I would trim it. These were on lots of windshields that they were replacing. So I just had a lot of different vehicles, a lot of different glass, and I would just wipe it off super clean, put a piece of tint, lightly cut it out, snap blades, try different stuff. Almost every time you could see a very faint scratch. Some of them would be heavier, some would be a little lighter. I think you're always leaving something. And some of them are just gonna turn out worse than others. So I'd rather, with the cost, just with the sheer stinking cost of glass replacement now, I don't even want to take the chance anymore. All right, what are we looking for? We'll take one of these, one of those. Where are my Slim Slams? We'll take one of those. So this should be pretty ready to go. We'll gel it. We got a gel. Do you have a preference, those wrap cards or felt cards for heat shrinking? I've been a long time user of the felt blocks. I tend to like the tri-edge cards a little bit more now. Try the brake light one more time. Oh, I forgot about that. Are you sure it's this one? This one pushes to the left. No. Something about it's just stuck. Oh, we did it again. Oh, we flushed with this. Oh, whatever. Fine. Where's my gel? I think it pushes to the right. I was just told 20 times to push it to the left. Excuse me. Getting over a cold. The other left. Could be. Did you dilute it at all? I'm doing straight gel right now. Call me crazy, but my favorite shrinking card is a Bondo spreader with it. No, that sounds like a great option, actually. Bondo cards are nice and flexible, and then they can also be really wide. I think the shrinking cards should be wider than they are, actually. Okay, I get this placed up there. So we just have gel on the edges, and I'm not expecting, like, my work turns out really good. I'm not expecting any miracles by introducing the gel to like your average thing. I think the biggest thing I'm gonna notice is maybe on door windows. But when we get to that front windshield, probably more towards like the top edges and stuff, it might be a little bit more helpful for that. I just have to use it for a while to really, I think, get a sense for it. The hardest part about tinting, usually keeping stuff clean on your front windshields. It's probably like the biggest thing. You could have a small hair, little speckling in the driver's line of sight, and you did everything as perfect as you always do, like as far as prep and whatnot, and then that kicks you in the ass. And then you have to suck it up and redo it, and it just hurts. Such a pain in the butt to have to redo a windshield. Even a back window is not as bad. Yeah, like an eyelash in your window. I just had an Audi recently, and that was like that's like one of the worst, most annoying situations on windshields. Everything's just tight on an Audi. So even though you take the time to like cut it extra close, you still have to kind of tuck into areas that are just a pain in the butt. I feel more like a window cleaner. How do you feel about the marker cut method? Oh, it's great. No, it's a really efficient, safe way to do things. Just mark the lines on your pattern or on the film for your pattern. Do you redo the windshield even if there's a tiny hair? It depends on where it is. So like, your windows are never gonna be completely perfect. There's always gonna be something, but the level of something should be really small and very invisible. But the problem is once you see something, you don't unsee it. So there's some people you're gonna tint for, and you're not gonna notice every small defect that's in your own work, even though you think you do. Give it a chance to dry out. Sometimes you'll see something else. But if they have an issue with your work, then you should take care of whatever the issue is. So like if you see something small, Don't let it get you down. It depends on where it is. Usually I ask the customer if it's minor. That's touchy ground too. Because the thing is, for some people, like, it's perfect until you start pointing out issues. So if you go to, like, you know, buy a new car, there's all types of small issues with the paint or whatever, but in your mind, it's just like, I don't know, it's new. And you just might not notice that kind of stuff. But a detailer is gonna look at that and go like, oh, every car's horrid out of the dealership. And so you could get the dealership to fix stuff that your average person just wouldn't notice, or then you gotta take care of it yourself. So in the world of tinting, it's just you are gonna notice far more little things than your average customer is ever gonna notice. And like a good example was, for some of the shops I was at, we had these sales guys and we would constantly have to remind them, do not assume whatever that customer's issue is. If they're coming back, let them point out what the reason they're coming back is. So we tint the car, customer comes back after a couple of weeks and is like walking out to the car. Sales guy like jumps in front of them and goes like, oh yeah, I see the issue, it's this, right? And then the customer looks at it and goes like, huh, I didn't notice that. No, it's over here. But yeah, I want that fixed now too. You just never know. Everybody's level of perfection is a little bit different. I just failed on my first windshield tint, too many creases. That's normal. Don't let it get you down. Try again. What brand of tint do you prefer? GeoShield. What's the hardest front windshield to do? On average, like an Audi. Is this one? Oh, that's for the... I thought so. That's funny, they actually all fit together. These are for the... Oh no, that is the middle. Really? Oh, shit, I guess it is. Usually they have this hook here for this one. All right, so after this, we got the front windshield. So that's coming in next. I just tint cars. I just had a customer ask if I'd do his house. Should I do it? That one's up to you. Flat glass is very worthwhile. I would do it if I was more serious about taking it on as a regular service. You also might be able to post in like our group and find a local flat glass guy and then sub out the work. So you still make money off of it, but you don't have to go do it. Quite a few are done that way. More difficult to hide imperfections doing flat glass? Yeah, but the standards for it, that's something I didn't understand. Like, flat glass work generally is less perfect than automotive. So it was really surprising to hear some of the standards that people had for it. I'm a little nervous. I'm gonna do a test for a shop. Give me a tip, please. Don't mess up. I don't know. Don't you love that view of the steering wheel? Is the gel you're using the same one as the videos that show the dirt coming out of it? I'm using Instagel. It's gonna do the same things that all the other gels are doing. But gels are not a miracle pull trash out of. It's if the dirt gets stuck in the gel, it can help bring it out. But if dirt gets stuck in the adhesive of the tint, it's stuck in the adhesive. PPF though is a lot more forgiving. So you can pull PPF back and you can flush out the adhesive. Tint, you can't do the same thing. Cool. So that's good. Let's coat it, and then we're gonna clean off the inside. The dots around the rear view mirrors is my weakness. Yeah, we got a little bit over there. It's very normal for them to silver out. The thing about dots is, like, dots are gonna do what dots are gonna do. I think the biggest thing is just trying to set customer expectations if you have that kind of issue. Like, too many people don't say anything or have an illustration to show somebody. And so if there's an issue, everything sounds all thumbs up and positive. Somebody tints a customer's car, customer sees the dots and then starts questioning everything. But you can try and have a picture ready or something, and if you think there's gonna be an issue, introduce it ahead of time. Then they move forward with it and you set expectations. F450, is it a newer one? What's a good place to recommend to advertise? Google ads are really good. Newer F450 is gonna be regular pricing. So it's going good. F450 with the windshield, it's gonna start at $450, believe it or not. $550 for ceramic and $650 for our dual ceramic. Since Core is kind of strict on who can purchase their software, what's the next best software? I would probably check out Computer Cut by SolarGuard. I'm not a fan of the interface, but I'm not a fan of any other software, so patterns were pretty decent. And you can get a 30-day trial without talking to anybody and just like try it out. I know, because that's literally what I did. Okay, so that is still drying, so we're gonna prep the inside of the windshield first. We have some stickers and stuff to take off. I haven't checked, but does Geo sell reflective tint for flat glass? Yep, they got a whole flat glass section. The shop address? Just search Detroit Tint Studio and you'll find it. Where do you get the seat covers? Those are on our store, actually. They're super nice. They just throw over the seats like a hoodie. They're very thick, so you're not going to damage anything. I'm going to throw another one over the middle. Because I grabbed 3, right? Does the room temperature affect the dots? I don't think there's anything concrete on like, hey, if I keep the room warmer, they're gonna install better or colder. It's just gonna speed up or, that's where it is. It's just gonna speed up or slow down how fast your windows dry out. I think dots can be really finicky. So you can have some that just stick better and dry more evenly, and some will have some type of residue. So I take another seat cover and I'll put it right here. And it's nice because a lot of these big screens, this will just flop over it and just stay there. And so then I'll take my dash towel and I'll bring it back over. And so I could toss tools here, not worry about it. I'm not going to damage anything. And a lot of times, drop a tool and it's just on the seat. It's not falling in between the seats. It would slide to the it would slide to the right. All good. This is a razor blade on a 1/4 Pro, so I got a few bigger things to remove. These don't need to be saved though. We're using Tint slip. I might grab another blade. The 1/4 Pro is nice, but one thing I don't like about it is that there's little screws. There's no quick way of just swapping out a blade. So after I hit the sticker, I'm gonna replace this blade now. There's other ones, there's other types of them that just have a little clip mechanism instead, but they're typically metal and they'll rust. But doing this to change out a blade, it's a nice bonus that it has it, but it's obnoxious to do. Okay. Nice. That's good. Yeah, this has a couple dot matrix, but it's also got the blue up here. I need a wide. Give me a wide razor blade set. Or maybe they should just make one of these that can hold 2 blades at the same time. Can you wrap over the dots? Yeah, we'll put the tint over the dots. Every time. You want to cover up your gaps. I got a blade attached to it. I'm just trying to make sure there's nothing major stuck to this one. I get in trouble too many times. Like there'll be a random spot that I didn't hit super well, and then that's where the adhesive is going to be. So I want to make sure it's clean. We still gotta shrink the film, but while the outside was drying, prep it. Nice. The dryer sheet is going to be for shrinking. So dryer sheets, dry shrink prep, soap bars. There's lots of different things that people are going to use. When you're shrinking, it's nice to have a surface for the film to stick to. But while you're actually heating it, you don't want it to bind up on the window. So while we're shrinking it, you'll kind of see how that helps. But look at it like a light tack surface. We should put this one over here. How much do you charge for that? For the whole thing is $5.50 on this one. This white shirt of window tinting. Yeah, that's fair. A lot of dot matrix questions. Tint doesn't stick well to the dot matrix. The glue on the tint is not thick enough to fill the gap between, like the dots are raised, right? So you need something to basically stick and fill in that area. The glue on tint is just not thick enough to do that. So that's why you have all that silvering. There's some things that you can do to try and help it out, but nothing really like concrete. Everything's got mixed results or presents like a lot of risk. So since it's a raised surface, you could take, where is my card? It's probably in the back somewhere. We'll grab this one. Starting my own tint hustle just based off of you. Nice. I managed to tint my old Corolla. Once I make it, I'll make sure to print your name. Yeah, you don't have to do all that. I appreciate it though. On the Corolla, tint it a bunch of times. That's a good practice car. All right, so we're gonna trim this. Just rough trim. Cut it short on the sides, leave it a little bit longer on the top and bottom. So I don't have much room on the sides there, but I got plenty of space before the wipers. Altima feels like a horrible practice car. Altima's a great practice car. We have one for the class, like a 2010 Altima. Could you heat up the film and use a foam roller? No, not really. Tint's very different from wrap. So wrap gets soft and it kind of just like softens up and sticks. Tint is very rigid. So what we need to do is shrink it, and so it's actually making it contract to the window. So see this, we got lots of film that's like propped up off the window. This all shrunk down. I got these waves. We then take it and then we just pull it flat on the window. And then so for our top corners, see this little swoop right here? Watch, this is connected here. We're gonna readjust this corner. Boom. See how that flattened out? Do bubbles happen in tint when it isn't shrinked? No. I mean, possibly. Stuff on the edges that pops up typically is a shrinking issue, but you can just have a lot of crap in the film. Creases, dirt, all that doesn't disappear. A lot of people think it's a cleaning issue. Most of the time, it's an insulation issue. Tint's just really sensitive to picking up lots of dirt and shit. Yep, start in the center line of the window and just work your way out. The more film that you have to shrink, the more heat and the slower you end up going. I'm trying to take away as much of like the mystery and magic behind this. Like, it's really straightforward on what's actually happening. The film is a big flat sheet. And when we take that flat sheet and we put it over a curved surface, you get all those fingers and stuff on the edges. Film, unfortunately, can only be shrunk in the same direction as the core is going, so out the top and bottom. But, so we unrolled it across the windshield. This is the core. We can only shrink out the factory edges of the film. So that means all those fingers, we then flat line in the middle, tack down the sides, and we force all those fingers to go up and down. And then when we hit it with heat, it starts shrinking together. And you just keep your heat gun moving, and you apply heat until you see these horizontal waves. I know it's a little hard to see on a 50% with a white towel in the background, but this is, see how this is loose and propped up off of the window? And then these little ocean waves here, those are shrunk. A lot of people will keep shrinking those. So we run a class every month, and there are people that have never touched film before, people that have been tinting for 3 to 6 months or up to a year. Almost everybody will either undershrink the film because they're afraid of burning it, or they go kind of extreme and they overheat it. And so our shrinking lessons are basically constant reminders of those little rules. Like, we try and teach you what exactly to look for. And so I try and point it out every time that we do this. See, we just heated that section and I got these little waves. If I keep applying heat to them, they will get tighter and tighter and tighter, and I won't be able to just lightly push them forward. There'll be too much tension because we shrunk so much. Now it's got to pull material from across the windshield. So like this top corner. Now this, I don't really see those lines. Here, oh, I can clearly see those lines. So I'm going to push up to here. A little bit out the side because this is still going here. And then I'm going to keep shrinking until I get that defined. That's all you're doing. It's learning that. So if you stick to those little rules, then you can pick up speed really, really quickly. It's just training yourself to look for those. I made 4 cars. I've been after a customer. Each car is a car. What? I'll be honest, I tried reading that comment. I have no idea what you're trying to say. Something about making cars. And everything's a different brand. Okay, so now for trimming this. I'm gonna cut close to the center of the tape. On the side edges, I might cut a little bit closer to the inside. It all depends on how much space that I have to deal with. This side I have a little bit more room, but I don't have any more than like, maybe a little bit more than 1/8 of an inch right here of space to deal with. I have more space at the bottom, more space at the top. So that means I just don't want to cut my pattern super wide. So if I put this tape right on the edge of the dots, that's my border. So if I cut wider on this line, then I'm making my border wider. Right? Like, look at where I got this line. Here's a little bit closer. Here's a little bit more in the middle. And this is coming a little bit even more farther out. So if I stick more on the inside of this line, I'm still past my dots. A green LED strap to the heat gun makes it so much easier to shrink. You can see way better, especially with spoilers. A green LED light, that's new. I haven't heard that one before. Is that like red is easier to see in the dark with? Or something like that? I would have never thought to try that one. I'm curious, I want to see it. What's the tape called? The tape is called Glass Aid Cut Guard. I loved using a light on the inside and just cutting directly on the glass. The tape takes time to put on, but I do like that I can see my border a little bit better. But I don't like cutting on glass anymore. There's too many risks involved. It's very easy to just, you snap a blade, you think everything's okay, you tint the inside, you wipe it off, and then you see a scratch, and you're like, what the fuck? I don't know. Based on everything that I tried and practiced with and tested, glass is just inconsistent. Like you said, if you don't tell them, they won't know. Yeah, you kind of hope that if you put a scratch in it. But it's there. Wipe it off with a dirty microfiber, and then it'll leave some smears, and maybe they just won't see it. But I don't want to have to worry about that anymore. So whether you use the tape, it's just good to do something. Put a little shirt button, drag it around the window instead. It's just like you want to try and taking a blade, dragging it around a window. Just be careful. So I use really nice blades. I've used both Olfa and NT for a long time. I like NT a little better. They're sharper. But the only reason people recommend stainless is because they're less likely to scratch, because stainless is a softer metal. It's a similar hardness to glass. Glass is a very hard surface, but you can scratch glass. So I don't think it's as simple as, oh, I used less pressure, oh, I made sure my blade was sharp, and I will never have issues. I don't think that's the case. I think that's how you mitigate a lot of issues, but I think you're gonna always have issues. I wish I could just cut directly on the window. I did that for a long time. I remember I was at one of my accounts, and I did this BMW, and I was just cruising through my day, snapping blades, always replacing them, wipe off the window, then there's a scratch, and I'm like, what the fuck? It just happens here and there. Okay, so that, where's my Slim Slam? Here's my Slim Slam. Slim Slam, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, I cut on the tape. I just want to cut somewhere that's not on the glass. So whether you use a Sharpie, whether you use a shirt button, something. It's just, be careful. Glass replacement's gotten nutty though. It's so expensive. It shouldn't be that expensive, but it's gotten ridiculously expensive. I should like play a song with my sprayers. Any brand of tint that you can recommend? Geo, that's what we're using right now. Model Y windshield on a 36? Yes. You don't have much space, but I do every Model Y and Model 3 with a 36. This is a quarter pro. It's just got a razor blade. I always lose my quarter pros. I could see that. Man, the quarter pro I thought was a silly tool when it was announced. I thought it was an April Fool's Day joke, and it's become one of my favorite little things. I even use it to like help push out water along the stamp on like the doors. What percent tint would you recommend? Are you going for something darker, something light, or something kind of in the middle? And do you want to do a full windshield? All right, one more. What's the most efficient for cutting on a plotter? I hear 40s. I still tend to buy 36s. But certain vehicles, you get that extra 4 inches of film, and you can get a few more types of windows in there on average. Can you use too much water? You absolutely can. I mean, the amount of water that I use tends to be a little bit on the high side. But I'm more particular, like I've always used water as a tool to help with cleaning things off faster. So as long as I have a towel tucked into the dash, and you know, generally it only takes me one time to tint a door, sometimes twice. I just, on average, don't run into issues. But I think one of the most important things is if you're gonna use a lot of water on a front windshield, keep your towel tucked into the end, and a rope always helps if you can add one. I guess we'll go a little heavier with the gel around the dots, right? That's the point. And just did my first windshield, and damn, it's one hell of a shoulder workout. Yeah, reaching across, squeezing a bunch of times, cleaning. What door seal tape do you use? I use a tape called Seal Guard. So I'm gonna wipe off all my edges here. And then I'm not gonna peel the tint right in this area. So we're gonna peel a corner. Put this down. We'll go to the other side. How do you handle tinting passenger windows that have a rain guard? Rain guards, if they're the in-channel ones, WeatherTechs, just remove them. Other than that, it's just going to be harder to cut a pattern if they're like the exterior ones. Just pot your doors instead. Okay, peel this corner. One of these days, there we go. So I'm gonna leave it still up in that corner. Peel the rest of it. But for a while now, I've been still keeping the tint attached, or the liner in the center part, just to avoid water kind of rushing into this part. And we're gonna spray this down so it's easy to roll. And now we're gonna lumpia this. Does plotting the door mean cutting it from the inside? No, if you have something with a rain guard, it's just easier to use a plotter system. You get your pattern really easy. But if you have like a stick-on, rain guard, it just makes cutting out your pattern more difficult unless you can remove the in-channel one. For the pesky dots, I'd take a few extra swipes with a razor blade, but I'm not recommending people do that. If it works. I like that idea better than just taking sandpaper to it. I've taken isopropyl to them and just making sure that there's no kind of like manufacturing residue or something that might just, you know, give it a better chance to bite. Why? Because. Oh, it fell. Damn. Now we'll get it. It's in that bottle. The magic juice. We have an installation gel that we're playing around with called Instagel. So I am using it sparingly in certain areas. I accepted my first Ram windshield after turning him down for 2 years. Oh yeah? What was that? No issues, cover the BCM. People make it out to be such a big issue. It's headlines. They absolutely can have problems if you don't cover them and if you just soak shit down. I was actually really surprised. Somebody posted a question. It was like, what kind of vehicles do you just flat out turn down? Rams were mentioned a lot, and so were Teslas. And people that turned down Teslas were just like crap cars, complete junk. And then I asked them like why, And they hardly ever touch them. They're like, I see a lot of people having issues with them in this group. It's like, dude, no, they're fine. When Tesla's like, you always got to know the full story. I think a lot of people just make gut reactions based on headlines. Rams had a BCM issue. So we try and be as careful as we can, but there's a lot of people that covering a fucking windshield to them is literally throwing a microfiber over a speaker. It's not tucking in a rope. It's not being extra careful. It's just spray and pray. And oh, I don't have issues on other windshields. So then when they have one, it freaks them out. And then they just like, I'm never going to do that car again. It's like why people still think sunroofs are an issue. It's like probably somebody somewhere had an issue. And then, oh, now nobody can ever do sunroofs. But look at the types of issues people are having and try and do some research as to why they're having them. So with a Ram, I've made quite a few videos at this point. And so my shop is near Stellantis. They literally make Rams around here and other stuff too, for that matter. I've done a bunch of friggin' Rams. I've never had an issue outside one time, and that's when I was being unsafe with them, and that's how I learned what to watch out for. When I learned that, I made a video. I try to share it anytime we do one live. I point out a BCM. There was like the issue people were having with a, what was it called? The Mercedes C300. Same thing. It's just you got to learn what to cover up. There's a lot of stuff back there. Don't just soak down the back window without covering some stuff up. So when you learn what to cover up, it's then not an issue. Trying to think of if there's a car I would not do because of a water issue. Off the top of my head, I can't think of one. I just did a Mercedes C300, no issues. Yeah, the newer ones, the 3M, oh, what was that? Sorry, there's a few things. Yeah, the Mercedes C300, that was only on like the newer ones, but there's a lot of stuff back there. And again, if you're just generally careful, I don't even think you'd have to cover anything up. Just know that a lot of people ran into destroying the SAM module. And the only way I know they even have one is because tinters ran into some issues. So last Mercedes C300 that we did, covered it up. Did we have any problems? Nope, everything was fine. I need my stick. There we go. So, older one, right? A friend of mine, and they had a friend of mine fried one, and they had to get a whole windshield recalibrated. Yikes. Yeah, be careful about that. New Subarus with dual cameras. Yeah, I wouldn't do a Subaru windshield unless the customer said they really wanted to, but that's after the disclaimer of your eyesight system may not work. Not because of water, but because you're putting a tint on the windshield. It's not made to do that. Why don't you use a bulldozer? I do, just not typically on windshields. If I can reach with another squeegee, I'll use it. Let's see, do you take your shoes off when inside a customer's car? No, but neither do the customers. Do you take your shoes off when you get into your car? PPF gel, same as the Tint Soft thing, actually works. So we're experimenting with it now. I have a product called InstaGel. It's an installation gel, primarily used for PPF, but it's an install gel. People use it for flat glass and automotive window tint. We're cleaning off this windshield right now. I mean, at this point, I got really clean windshield, so like, we're gonna see if this is, I don't know. I didn't notice anything majorly different with this, but I'm hoping a gel around the top might help with potential specking. Same thing with the sides, help with potential specks, keep things cleaner. The biggest thing that I'm looking to get out of it is on door windows. I'm hoping I can just slide my film for longer. But so far, like, I think it's cool. So what I did with this one was I cleaned off the windshield like I normally do. I even sprayed it, but I sprayed extra gel right up in here along the edges. And we're gonna see. We're gonna see if I see anything. I gotta figure out a nice way to explain gel. But it's a little bit more, like it's a tacking solution because it's like thicker. It's like an encapsulator or something like that. So your slip solution is runny. So when you spray the edges, it drips. The gel, when you spray it, stays in place. So in areas that you might have more issues with water running, what was that question? Slim Slam with a red line extractor, great combo. Oh, nice, thank you. I appreciate that. Do you think it would help with felt seals? Yeah, potentially. I think taping felt seals. What is that? Do you think that it would actually help with felt seals? Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting distracted a bunch because the other comments are good. With felt seals, I think taping is like the best type of thing that you can start with because you're taking the felt and you're not giving it a chance to break loose. But the cool thing about a gel is that the gel, hold what is it, holds stuff in place so that if dirt comes down, it doesn't go far because the gel holds it until you push it out. I think that's exactly right. Gel's not gonna let dirt just run back into your window because it's not gonna let the water just flush back in. So I think using that as a way to encapsulate dirt and stuff is really smart. One extra thing that I want to get out of it is one of my biggest gripes with Geo is it's got a very tacky adhesive. So there's times that I'm trying to get it to slide and it just starts sticking. That drives me crazy. So by misting the window with some gel, when you put your film on it, like so you'll spray the glass with the gel, spray the film with your slip solution, and then when you go to slide it on the window, that gel is hopefully gonna make your film slide for longer. Some films, they slide just fine. You're not gonna need that. You can use baby shampoo. With Geo, it's always been kind of tacky. All right, where's my... Everything here turned out really clean. Wow. I used Dawn since 1997. Yeah, Dawn's a real popular... Fun. Dawn's a really popular soap. It's a degreaser, though. So, it's not that people don't have issues with it. It's just film companies can't recommend it because it's not necessarily the safest thing to use on window film. About to retint my windshield. Weird stream. About to retint my windshield in Apex. Can't decide on 35 or 50. 50 is what I drive around with now. I like 35 better, but I always got nervous driving around with 35%. So for showing customers, 50% is usually what I go to. It's what most people end up getting. And what I put on, like, my wife doesn't want to drive around with 35. So 35 if you want to be a little bit more dangerous. But it's such a nice shade. Yeah, that turned out nice. Really nice. Up in all these areas. I don't have any speckling, any like even one little single teensy thing up there. I'm thinking, like, so I tape the sides of all the door windows that I do. I'd look at the gel like more like I mean, it's what people have been pretty much using it for, as a way to keep your edges cleaner, because I can't realistically tape the edges on a windshield. So I'm pretty much on windshields, probably gonna look at it that way. Do you sell it? We just gotta, I think, say yes on the store. I think we have it as a draft listing. We have a whole pallet of it, so yeah, it's definitely gonna be in the store. We were just sorting out a few extra things because we have free shipping on a lot of tools and stuff. And a gallon of that doesn't exactly fit inside of an envelope. So it's trying to figure out how to work that into everything that we have right now. Because we still want to offer free shipping, like over $100 and that kind of stuff. But a gallon of that stuff is pretty inexpensive. It's like, what, 32 to, I think it's like $35. $3M gel is good. 3M's got one. Expel has one. I'd imagine they're all going to be pretty similar, but a little bit different. Same, but different. How do you got your phone propped up? I have my phone. You can see it right here. I have my phone on a neck mount. Sorry, can't really see it. Let me close it and it'll be darker. There we go. See the neck mount? I got a phone right there. Do I need to stretch pre-cut tint I bought? No, you need to shrink it. Watch some videos. How do you prevent contamination and speckles in this windshield? I mean, I usually do pretty well on windshields, but we took an extra step with the gel, and the gel seemed to do a really good job. I mean, I can't confidently say this is a miracle gel, this is gonna be a game changer solution for everybody, but I think it definitely has high potential for helping people. I mean, there's been a lot of positive stuff said about it already. Yep, that's on the outside. Oh, I gotta put a seal back in. Let's do that. It's gonna be Should I go like true evil salesman? I hate how much I have to explain stuff. It's a miracle gel. It keeps your edges clean. It's super easy to use, and you will get a 100% cleaner job every time. LOL. I think the main thing that people are gonna like is that if you spray it on the edges, you're gonna get less stuff running into your film. I think that's pretty straightforward. The bonus for me, there we go. The bonus for me is the gel's gonna help keep my film sliding for longer. And then this goes back here. And then it should be, actually, let's roll this up first. And then I'll bippity bop it. Thanks again for the stream. Hope we didn't annoy you too much. No, you guys were cool. I don't know what happened early on, but there was like people out for blood earlier. There we go. Ta-da! Clean, very clean. Oh, it's so nice. Do you need to shrink it if it's pre-cut? Yes. Yeah, pre-cut is not magic. Pre-cut is pre-cut. So it gives you the shape, doesn't give you the contour. Okay, so this goes here. Wait. Oh, damn. It goes here. Aha! We figured it out. I knew it. I knew we'd get there. Can you show how close to the top edge you are? I'm trying. It's pretty dang close. The gel will be on our site soon. If you are impatient, just search Instagel and you will find it's been in stores for some time. We're slow to kind of catch on, but I only ever knew it. Ooh, we don't want to lose that. I only ever knew it for PPF. Nope, this is it for today. And then we're going to take this, pop this back. This goes down. And then we take this and we plug it back in. Then we cross our fingers. I think this is the part I hate the most. Oh, I think we need a jumper. I think we need a jumper. Oh yeah, we need a jump box. Okay. Oh, it's right there. Good job, Toyota. Does this happen often? No. No, it doesn't. Is it bad that it happened? No. Just got Instagel yesterday. Gonna try it today and see if it helps. This does not happen at least once a week. I would have every car in a jumper if this happened once a week. This happens. Ugh, just go back in every stream. Every Hyundai Tucson I have dies on me. It's not even completely dead. It's just a little low. I recently bought a jumper because the car did this. Yeah, you should always have one on hand. You can tint, but do you know how to jump a car? Older vehicles typically too. Stuff that's used, it just depends. But it's not a big deal. Battery got a little low. There we go. She's done. Not a little jump box. The little jump boxes are handy, but oh my God, do not depend on those 100%. Make sure you have something that can plug into a wall. Nothing is quite like taking I don't know, I'll call it dumb power, and just juicing the car. So we have a jump box that it's too smart. It needs to read a battery before it starts throwing power to it. And so a lot of the batteries that die, we hook it up, and then it just doesn't do anything. We have to like put it in a certain mode, where those ones you can just turn on and it just starts throwing power. It just needs some juice. Ah, no, this was the only car today. Streaming for 3 hours. Yep, this is a full thing with the windshield. Been loving PPF gel. Do you think it can be an issue running down? Honestly, like, so that's what I would have thought at first, is like, ooh, gel on the inside of the windows. They're both a little bit more watery, like they clean up really fast. But how you use it is not just like, I spray it all over my tint and I spray it all over the glass. When you go to install it, clean it off with your slip solution, spray some of this on the edges. You can mist the window with it if you want, and still use a little slip solution. Then go to the outside, spray your tint with just your slip solution, and then install. So like I two-staged this one, so no gel was in the bottom half of it. I just use it for the top portion. And then on the windshield, I used it all along the dots and this area. It helped keep everything clean. I still like, sometimes there's some placebo. So that's my first full windshield that I've done with it. I'm gonna keep on using it and see how it goes. That's why I didn't just like throw it up in our store and like, hey, this is the process now. I always like to play around with this stuff and see how it goes. But I've got nothing but nice things to say about it so far. I guess I'm a little bit more surprised that so many people have been interested in it. Because if anything, it's like, oh, another thing that I gotta add to my installation thing. And then people are gonna be like, so do I have to use gel now? No, you definitely don't have to use it. But just like tape. If you want something that'll help try and keep the edges and stuff cleaner, gel is just not runny. So less chance of stuff just feeding back into your work. It might be that one little thing that people need to give everything just that added clean boost. I don't know. Gel works great on older cards. I can see that for sure. Anywhere where you're going to have extra speckles and dirt running in. Is it safer to always just two-stage windows? No, not necessarily. But it is nice to not have to pull seals out. Would you recommend the combination of gel and tape? Yeah, and honestly, I've been using tape for so long now, I'm a little bit like, if I had a door window with felt on the sides, abandoning using tape and just using the gel, maybe I'll do that and just have maybe I'll just try it on like one window. So I'll have like my normal tape situation and I'll just try it on one of the doors just using the gel instead. But I would have to try it more than once. Yeah, do gel on the edges and slip on the glass. Go to their Instagram. So this is their label, and you can go to the gel Instagram and see some videos on it. So you could screenshot that if you want. But what they were doing for PPF and what they would do for tint is they just spray the surface of the glass with it, and then they spray the surface of the tint with their slip solution. But what I was doing, just to be a little extra sure, and because I'm still new to it, I would spray the sides in the gel, mist a little gel, and I'd still use some slip solution just to make sure everything would slide. Alrighty, guys. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for today. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate you. I'm gonna deliver this one, and get some other stuff done.